You've saved for years, you hit your down payment number, you bought the townhouse, and then the furnace died, and you had nothing left. We talked about how your bank approval is not your budget in episode 2. We broke down all the costs that show up after you get the keys, property taxes, strata fee. Today, we're going to do something that I see trip people up constantly, and that's the idea that more down payment always equals smarter move. But it doesn't. And in a market like Surrey right now, it can actually leave you dangerously exposed. You've been saving hard for maybe 5, 6 years, and you've got $140,000 sitting in your FHSA and your savings account. And you find a townhouse in Clayton or Fleetwood, maybe it's listed for 950. You do your math, you think, if I put everything down, my mortgage payment would be smaller, and this is a responsible move. And on paper, that logic isn't wrong, but here's what that logic doesn't account for. So let's run numbers on that 350, no, sorry, $950,000 townhouse. The minimum down payment on that home between 500K to 1 million, 1.5 million is 5% of the first half, and that's 25,000, and then the 10% remaining on 450, that's 45,000. So your minimum down is 70%. Now let's talk about what else is coming out of your pocket on the closing day alone. In BC, property transfer tax at $950,000. That's roughly 16,500. No exemption at this price in the past. You've passed the 835K threshold for first-time buyers. Then there's the home inspection, which is 500 to 700. Legal fee of about 15 to 2,500. Title insurance, some repairs, let's call it conservatively another 2 to 5 grand. And we're talking 20 to 25,000 in closing costs that have nothing to do with your down payment. So before you even unlock the front door, you need your down payment plus a solid closing buffer. And I've had a client run into this in South Surrey last spring, is that they had $150,000 saved. They put 110 down to keep the mortgage lien. Closing costs took most of what was left. 2 months in, the hot water tank failed. A new one costs about $1,800 installed. They put that on the credit card at 19.99%. That's a trap. You bought the asset, but you have zero financial cushion to actually own it. So here's how I think about this and what I would walk through with every first-time buyer who sits down with me. There are 3 buckets. Each buyer needs all 3 of them before they close. So bucket 1, your down payment, minimum required, and not a dollar more that leaves you empty. Bucket 2, that's the closing cost. The budget's 3 to 4% of the purchase price as your closing buffer. So on a house of 950,000, that's roughly 28 to $38,000. Yes, that much. And then bucket 3, an emergency reserve, minimum of 10, 15, or $20,000, just sitting untouched after you close. This is your whatever happens fund. Um, the strata assessment can come in and you don't have to panic fund. If you can't hit all 3 buckets, you may not be ready to buy at that price point yet. And that's not a failure, that's just math. So now here's where people instincts work against them. Everyone wants to avoid CMHC mortgage insurance, and I get it. At 20% down on 950, you'll need 190,000 just to dodge the premium. But consider this, if you're putting 20% down wipes out your emergency fund, the insurance premium is cheaper than the financial catastrophe, right? On a CMHC, on a 10% down payment of a $950,000 house, your premiums may be $24,000, okay? Added to your mortgage, which is spread over 25 years, that's about $100 or more a month in your payments. A new furnace on a maxed out credit card at 20%, that can cost you more than an interest alone, and it happens in months too. The math is not sentimental. So the move isn't to put down as much as possible. The move is to put down enough to meet the minimum or close to it and protect your liquidity. Your saving keeps you safe before you buy, and they need to keep you safe after. That's the part bank does not walk you through. Now, in episode 4, we're going to get into something a lot of first time buyers think they already know the answer to. Renting is throwing money away.